Welcome to the Business Insider Podcast, where we interview the top business leaders in their respective industries. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, I am excited to introduce a special VIP guest. We've got Helen Polise here. She is the founder at Socialize. Helen, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me, Riley.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Super excited you can make it. And I'm sure audience is wondering, specifically what you guys do and really what the major outcomes are for your clients that you work with. So before the podcast, you had kind of given me a brief rundown on what that looked like. If you wouldn't mind reiterating that to the audience, it'd be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my life is interesting because it's a little bit twofold industry-wise. I've been trained as a TV commercial producer and director for the past, I want to say 35 plus years. I'm going to say more like 40 now, but I have been doing that for a long time. So when I decided to embrace social media, it pivoted my industry in a weird way where now not only am I doing TV commercials, but I am also shooting content for brands for social media. So I've had a little bit of an interesting flip, and during that time, because of the way my content had flowed, I ended up as a TikTok teacher. So I began to be branded as the TikTok teacher on my platform. And so now I have students in the TikTok arena, and I have a second business where I teach people how to create content. That was hard to sum up in a quick statement, but I did it.
Yeah, no, you did an amazing job. And, obviously we'll kind of dive a little deeper into what all that means. So for you, Helen, if you had to define your superpower or the unique skill or insight that really sets you apart in your space, what would it be and how has it shaped your success?
I am going to say it's authenticity, because I know that doesn't even sound like a superpower, but it's so difficult for people to put a camera in front of them and be themselves. And for some reason, I was able to do that when I started. So I built trust over the past since I've been on TikTok since 2020 and also on Instagram simultaneously teaching since 2020. I have built up such a trust because I'm who I am. I can't act. When I laugh out loud, I just laugh at myself. When things are rough, I am emotional. So I don't have a persona that's online and then you meet me in person and I'm different. And that, I think, is what my superpower is.
It's amazing. Now that makes perfect sense. So I'm curious, Helen, what kind of inspired you to pursue this current path? I mean, how'd you get here?
Okay. It's funny because when I first started on social media, it was like a lot of people during the pandemic, and I hopped on TikTok to embrace it. And I was doing videos in my kitchen and baking and such. And because I can make really good content, I know how to edit from years in production, I was making really good videos. And I had people asking me, how'd you do that? When I got to do some of these outfit transitions where I'd like fling my shirt and it would fly off and I'd be in a different outfit. And it was very unusual to see someone of my age, which is 64, I don't mind saying, of my age doing that. And so because I caught the attention of a lot of different ages of people, they were like, did my mom just school me on TikTok and do so it was really, really fun. And so a lot of people asked me, how'd you do it? So I started making tutorials. And that is when the game changed for me. And I went from maybe 70,000 followers to 500,000 followers. And it really happened overnight with a couple of key lessons because I loved teaching it. And I think my passion came through for wanting people to be able to do it. And a lot of my beliefs are that a lot of us feel invisible at a certain age. So I wanted to give people the tools to also share who they really are at this age so that we can really change the face of aging. So when I started doing the tutorials, my God, my following grew very, very quickly and things got crazy. And I will tell you, the comments are where I got the idea for calling myself the TikTok teacher, because somebody came in and said, our teacher has landed. And I love it so much. So I never am at a loss for content. I love to teach.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's definitely a amazing profession. That's really awesome that you're able to build that credibility and have success on social media. So kind of through your journey, how powerful has networking been to your success, and what would you recommend other entrepreneurs do to up their game?
Okay, one thing that I did embrace immediately is when I was asked to speak at conferences, because when you build a following like that and you're in a certain niche, suddenly as the expert, I'm invited to speak at things, and I fully embraced it. I have met the most interesting people, news anchors at events that have then featured me, for example, Tamsin Fadal, who now has featured me on as a change maker on Pix 11 News. So networking is so important, and being able to walk into a situation where you don't know anybody and you can talk to anybody, that is such a useful skill that I have. And I think I've probably developed it as I got older, but I really do enjoy kind of walking into a blank slate and figuring things out and networking with people. It's one of my favorite things. I do love it. I really do.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of young entrepreneurs are kind of missing that element in today's
Yeah.
day and age. And that's definitely something, I've been trying to do as often as I can. I like to kind of consider myself as a connector, shake every hand I can. And I've met a lot of great people and have amazing mentors. And I definitely wouldn't be as far as I am in my young entrepreneurial career if it weren't for networking.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, it's funny when I see those TikToks where it's like people say, "Don't text me but if you're calling me and you can type, don't even bother." They don't want to have a phone call; they rather have a text. And I
I
feel
hate
that
it.
deep.
I get
Oh my
so
God.
pissed.
Yeah, really? Me too. I don't call me. You can text me. What are you doing? And I feel the same way, which is weird because at my age, I think
Wow.
people are
Okay.
like, I have the opposite thing. I'm like, don't call me unless it's something if you have something you can text me. I'm terrible. But at the same time, I'm a people person. So I don't mind if I get the phone
Yeah.
call, but my instincts, because of maybe being on social media and maybe having that younger mindset, and I have embraced technology the whole way. So to me, sometimes texting is faster. Like, don't get me on a phone call. It's going to eat an hour of my life. I
Yeah.
have things to do.
Yeah, I guess for me it depends on, the substance of what we're discussing. Like, if my team is informing me of something, then that's fine. I
Right.
mean, I'm busy, so obviously texting makes sense in certain situations, but when there's like a big problem that arises or
You
someone's
just want to
asking
talk
me,
it out. Yeah.
I need help with this or whatever it is when I have again, we're going back and forth all day long,
Right.
and it's like just fucking call me. We'll do this in 5 minutes and then it'll be
That's
done.
true. Okay, in that case, I agree with you
Yeah, so that's where
100%.
I'm
So
like,
it's okay.
I definitely get frustrated, or it's like, this is more of like a personal thing, like my personal life. But when I'm trying to make plans with people, or we're planning a trip,
Uh,
whatever it is, and we have everybody texting, then this person doesn't respond for a day, and then it's like I need to know what's going on. I'm like, let's
yes.
just get on the phone, we'll
And
finish
just
this in
figure
10
it out.
minutes, and then we'll never talk about it again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think there's a time for texting and there's a time for
Yeah.
in person. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. But I'll tell you what, like being in the mindset now of, I think that a lot of older people don't like to embrace technology because they just don't know and they don't
Just
understand. And
understand.
they
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they just don't understand. And the minute I've always been that person that, oh, what's this? Instagram? Let me get on it. Oh, what's this? Like I've
Yeah.
always been an early adopter, partly because I'm with young people on crews constantly. So I see what the young people are doing. I relate to them more as friends. I don't feel like a superior to them. I feel that we're friends. So my friends are on it. I better get on it too. And so that's how I've always been. So I've had this little advantage of being a technology embracer. So now I feel, because I had to learn it, that I am much better equipped to teach it. Whereas people who grew up with it, they didn't have to learn it. They
Right.
just kind of
It's-
know it.
Yeah.
So it's really, that's why when people say, oh, you teach this so much better than a 20-year-old. And I'm like, yes, because a 20-year-old didn't have to learn it.
And it's new.
I had to learn it. So I had to figure it out. So I have all the synapses in my brain of how I learned it and how I put the pieces together. And I think that's what makes me a better teacher. Maybe that's my superpower now that I think of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And
Okay.
just out of curiosity, do you have kids?
I do. I have 3 kids. Oh my God. And they're probably older than you. I have a 35-year-old, 33-year-old, and a 28-year-old.
Well, they're
Two boys
definitely
and a
older than
girl.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then my 33-year-old is autistic, so I have a whole lane of other experience where I'm much more compassionate when people need extra help learning. So I think one of my studio students, because I do have a virtual studio, and one of my students actually said to me, "You have so much patience." And I'm like, I have been trained by the best, because you have to have patience when you are, raising someone with special needs. And I do, even though sometimes I lose patience there too.
Yeah, yeah, it can happen to anyone, right?
Yeah.
So what do your kids think about you being this
Oh
big
God.
social media influencer?
All right. So when I first got on TikTok, they were like, "Oh, she's the one that's going to end up with 1 million followers. That's what's going to happen. She's going to be the influencer." So they kind of predicted it because they could see that I was uninhibited with it and I wasn't overthinking it. So I kept going viral with these little things that I would do. And I was cleaning my refrigerator with Pledge, and I went dancing, and I went viral during the pandemic. Silly things like that. So they kind of saw it coming. My daughter does stand-up comedy, and she even says, like, one of her comedy sets is like, "Yeah, I work with an influencer and it's my mom, and feel my pain that I'm supposed to be good at social media and she's the one that's killing it." So she has a whole comedy set about it. And I think the family has a good time with it. We're good. We're good.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So for you personally, Helen, what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to face in your life to this point? How did you overcome it? And what is one life lesson you learned from that experience?
My God. Okay, here we go. This is going to go way into other places. So I was powering along in my social media, doing great, teaching people. I was starting this studio, and then I had to put it on a hiatus because I went blind in a 3-week period. We didn't know what was happening. I couldn't make content, but I was still somehow documenting my journey. So I would go into doctors trying to figure it out. And cut to the chase, I was diagnosed with lymphoma. I immediately went in for radiation to bounce my eyesight back, and they were not even sure that was going to happen, but I am a testimony. It has happened. And I then had to go through chemo, shave my head, did it all for my audience, took them with me on the journey. I actually brought people into my chemo sessions with me on my phone. When I say people, I brought my audience via my TikToks into my chemo sessions and showed people that you don't have to have cancer and then go into a black hole for 6 months. You can keep living your life. I continued to work. I was producing and directing still while I was going through chemo between treatments. Very carefully planned in between treatments. And it was, and now I'm cancer free. So my hair, this is my real hair. Yay.
God, that's
But
awesome.
I wore wigs. I did great transitions when I had no hair because I could transition from wig on and wig off. I had a lot of fun doing dark humor and everything during the whole time. And I think that I showed people that you really can live through cancer in a joyful way. I know that sounds absurd, but it's true. I was laughing and crying, and I was smiling and dancing, and I took people into my chemo sessions, and I made great content through the whole thing. And I will say what the comment that is the most game changing for where I am with this, as to finish up your last question, is that one of my followers said, I followed you to learn about TikTok, and now I'm learning about life.
That is like, yeah, that's peak.
It was peak. It was peak. And it's truly helped me because now the content that I made during that time is still out there and people still happen upon it. And I'll have people that go, oh my God, I just happened upon your cancer videos and it's helping my mom who's going through it right now. So I managed to somehow create through it and keep the content going while once I got my eyesight back, I was continuing to do tutorials on how to do the wig transition. I was teaching the lessons, and I still did it while I was going through my treatments. And I did it because I knew I was on a mission, and I'm still on the mission, and I feel so strongly about it.
That's amazing. I'm so happy that you're cancer free. That's
Yes.
literally that's such an amazing story. And it's awesome that you were really able to take that devastating experience and turn into something somewhat, positive, where that I mean, most people can't. So I think you showing people that, hey, like, it doesn't have to be this black hole of devastation for 6 months or, however long that event lasts. That's awesome. Seriously.
Yeah. It's really cool too. It's almost like I have a documentary now. It's really crazy, but I've thought about making it into a documentary because it shows, like, while I was in the cancer thing, I was making videos saying, when I'm on the other side of this, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. So I have literally the receipts of myself never thinking that this was going to end another way except how it ended. You know what I mean? I was through it all. I was making those videos about, like, when this is over, blah, blah, blah. And when this is behind me and I have my hair back, blah, blah, blah. So I was always talking about it like it was in the past. And it's funny to be here now because it is in the past. And it seems like a dream now. Like, did that really happen? I don't even know. But it did. It really happened. It really happened. I know, it was crazy, but I do think it's just kind of rounded out my story to an even greater extent. It gave me greater reach. It gave me more confidence than ever because I'm like, listen, if I could live through that, I can do anything. So now I just believe so strongly in what I'm meant to do, and I feel so positive about it. So that's
awesome.
where I am.
I love your energy. I love your mentality. So if you could go back 10 years ago and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself to do differently? Or maybe
Damn it. Get on social media sooner. What was I waiting for? No, but I was on it, but I just didn't understand the power of it. So if I had this knowledge, yes, I would have started 5 years sooner for sure.
But then maybe you would have try to monetize your audience earlier.
Sooner. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't have worked out. Absolutely. It had to happen this way. So I do get that. But I will say that because I do a podcast and a newsletter every week, this is a funny question because it's very timely because my newsletter on Friday and my podcast was, what would I do differently if I started over on social media? And this is my first statement. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
It's start a newsletter, start an email list, start an email list.
Okay.
The end. Because these platforms, we don't know. They're going to come and go. Look at my 1.1 million followers. Boom, it could be gone with TikTok. So TikTok goes, that goes. And if I didn't start a newsletter when I did, or an email list, I should say, not even a newsletter, gather an email list is really what you need to do. And then you can keep them through a newsletter. But that is the one thing that I would do so much sooner than I did. I waited too long to do that. And I have a good email list, but I could have, if I started it right in 2020, when I first got on there and figured out what can I send to people every week that would keep them engaged, I would own my audience a little more than I do right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, 100%. So, in a rapidly changing world, where do you kind of see your industry headed over the next 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, I think that the commercial industry is changing so much, and I can see that based on how much work there is and how many people are going after that work. So I think less and less people are focused on TV, and they want social more. I'm getting more calls to shoot social media than I am to shoot TV now, and that is, the tide has changed very rapidly in the last year, very rapidly, and I kind of love it because I've always been an embracer of change. So I was prepared for it way ahead of a lot of people in my industry. So I think it's going in that direction. I think there's going to be more opportunity for people solo with the phone to be able to get their creativity out there and get seen and get hired for this type of work. So before, when I first started doing this, I was one of the few people one of these companies was calling to create the TikToks. And now they have like a roster of people they call now. So that is changing for the better for people who want to be filmmakers, but never could get that crack in the door, get their foot in the door or whatever. I think the opportunity is show your skills on social media and you will be found. This is hands down a fact. I can see it. People are being cast off social media for shows where you used to have to have an agent and a casting company to get you in. And now you just post something and somebody's calling you to be in something. You know what I mean?
No, it's very true. I actually had this discussion recently with someone else. Actually, so basically someone was graduating college with a sport, give me a second,
Sports management?
communication
Oh,
communications and sports management and wants to be a broadcaster. And they're like, dude, I can't find any jobs. Do you have like any connections? And we kind of talked about the whole like social media thing. And well, I wasn't being mean to him, but we just kind of discussed whereas like you would have been much better off, honestly, like not going to college and just
yes.
doing social media. And you would have gotten plenty of opportunities because all these social media influencers they'll get on the
They're
show.
the ones. Yes, they're the ones. They're announcing things and they're interviewing people. Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. So, don't hesitate. Like, put yourself out there. And that's what I feel very passionate about doing, is giving people the tools to do it. Because a lot of people go, oh, that sounds great, but you know how to do it. You know how to edit. No, I'm teaching you how to edit. Like, I am not gatekeeping. Every week, I have a studio now where every single week I give them a very dedicated lesson and I offer a challenge. And I'm like, everybody's going to try this week. And one of my students, by the way, she's like an autism mom randomly. She's a young autism mom. And she did, the first challenge was how to loop your video, how to get your video so that people play it over and over again. Okay, so that was the first lesson that she took in the studio, and she had her first viral video, got literally like 500,000 views, got thousands of followers. So it's real. Like, you don't have to be a professional to be able to do it. You just have to know what to do. And that's what I'm determined to do, is give people those tools. And I love it to death. Like, every week, I'm never at a loss for an idea of what I'm going to teach the next week. So it's great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So what do you feel like is the biggest problem in your industry, and really what are you doing to solve for that?
So when you say the industry, do you mean the social media side or the TV side? The biggest, Okay, the biggest problem I'm going to say is the algorithm and the constant battle with the algorithm, because most of the complaints I get and questions that I get every week in the studio and from my social media in general is, I'm stuck in 200 view jail. The algorithm doesn't like me, yada, yada, yada. And I love it. But I also then go look at that person's content. I go, the algorithm is not your problem. It's nobody's watching these videos because they're not interesting. I mean, not to be mean, but I do that. I do tell them that in a nice way. I said, really, the first few people who see your video kind of have to be engaged with it in order for the algorithm to like it. So it's the algorithm is second. It's like the people who are watching first, and then they are telling the algorithm, is this good or not? So I see that the algorithms are a problem, but I also see if you can find that little something and change your content, you can break through that algorithm problem. So one more example, I do private coaching, and one of my private students, I watched a bunch of her videos and I said, man, she's a good content creator. She's she's a relationship coach. She speaks well, but there was one thing in her content that I saw as a viewer and it didn't sit with me. She would start her videos by telling her audience, you feel this and you feel that and you feel this. And I said, I'm watching these videos and I'm like put off, like, no, I don't. I was kind of almost put on a defensive.
Right.
So I said, why don't you try starting your videos with like, if you feel this and if you feel that. She had her friggin' viral video the next day. Like literally, you know what I mean? But she didn't see that. It's huge because it's like she was telling me how to feel versus inviting me to question if I feel that way.
Right.
So literally, these are the types of things that I see so clearly. And I don't know if I see it because I'm a producer by trade or because I'm a really good analyst of content sometimes, but that's what I'm helping people with. And she is just so grateful. She's like, I'm your new poster child because now she's had back-to-back viral videos just from making this one change in her content. So it feels really good because she's younger than me, but a bit older as well. She's definitely over 50. And she's been struggling for so long with a good amount of followers, but just couldn't crack the code.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping small businesses crack the code. I'm helping individuals figure it out, new people, all ages, people who feel invisible. I'm trying to build something where everybody helps each other and they can find each other and connect in there. So the studio is my happy place. I'll tell you what, Riley. I never thought I'd like it as I started it to go, well, maybe I can monetize this. And now it's like, I love this more than anything. I don't even care if I'm making money right now, so it feels really good.
So for any of our viewers out there listening, that are interested in what you do and want to connect, collaborate, or even work with you, what would be the best way for them to reach out and get in contact with you?
Okay. So what I did recently is organized everything into, believe it or not, a Stan store, which sounds crazy, but it's stan.store/the mothership. And that is literally where you can book me for private coaching, join my studio, see the free resources. I have a free TikTok course. I have free newsletter, free workshops. I have a lot of free things. And then it gives you a link to if you want to book me for a conference or if you want to hire me for your video production needs, it's all there. So I have it finally housed in one place so you can find what you need. It's really good. It was a really good idea. I can credit my daughter for you need a Stan store. I said, that sounds a little strange. And here we are. My Stan store is my best friend right now because it gets people, if I say, go to my website for this, well, maybe they want me for production. So if I send them so it becomes a little confusing. So this is like a one-stop shop where you can pick how you need me. And it's really been great. I do love speaking at conferences. I never thought. I used to be so terrified if I had to speak in front of 10 people, but because I'm speaking about something I feel so good about and I love so much, I'm never nervous for a second. And it's my new favorite thing. You're probably really good at speaking to audiences. Are you?
I'm still kind of getting the hang of talking in person. Like I just got into it. Like I'm 22, so I've still,
oh my God, you're so worlds beyond your age as terms of interviewing.
Thank you.
And I mean, I know because I'm an interviewer, and it's not easy to listen and realize where you want the next question to go. That's impressive.
Thank
Riley,
you. I appreciate
impressed.
that. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, with the keynote speaking, I'm just kind of getting into that.
Oh my God, you have so much time. You're gonna.
I've got a lot of time, and it's definitely, I will say, I've always been. I don't want to say I'm an introvert. Like I am extrovert. Like once I'm out there, I'm okay speaking to people and networking. But it's like for me to actually get there, that's the hard part. Is like for me to actually do it. But then once I'm there, I can speak well. I can talk to people. I can make new friends. Like I've never had that issue. It's always been like in high school, for example, right?
Motivation to
you played sports. You were in classes. Like you had to be there. So it was like very easy for me to be social. Sure. Then COVID, it was like, oh, I don't have to do any of this anymore. So there's definitely a very large pivot after COVID for sure.
Do you know what? I relate a lot of things to exercising a muscle, and I talk about this with creativity as well. If you don't exercise your creative muscle, you can't get better at being creative.
Very true.
So if you, it's the same thing. Like we get in a zone, and it's like, oh, I have to. Even I had it after COVID. I'm like, do I have to actually go somewhere in person? Meanwhile, I loved going out, But even now, I still have that. But once I get there, I'm good. Oh, why did I say yes to this? And then I get there and I'm great. But when it comes to conferences, I am just always pumped that I said yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know I'm going to connect with amazing people. They're going to love what I have to say because I get so excited talking about it. And I'm always the favorite speaker. The people always come up to me and go, "You are the favorite of the day." And I'm like, "Thank you." But because I just love it. And I think people get that. It's not fake.
Yeah, I think when you're being
It's
genuine, I can tell
yeah.
like you have a very positive energy about you. Like that's what people resonate with. That's probably why you blew up because you're like on there just
Uh,
having fun, right?
yeah. And I also am this. I'm not like pretending to be someone else. Like, this is it. You meet me like this. This is how I am. You meet me in person. I'll give you the biggest hug, Riley. It's going to be great. Next time you're in New York City, you let me know. I'll buy you a coffee.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna link all of Helen's stuff in the description. She made it super easy, so I'll
You
be
are so
attaching
much
that.
fun, Riley.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I had a
I
blast
just
having you on.
I just had to say it. All right, go ahead and wrap up. But I just want to say that you are very impressive. I cannot believe you're 22 years old. It's
I,
really impressive. Bravo to
That
you.
means a lot. That means
You're
a lot
going
coming from
places.
you. Thank you so much for saying that. But yeah, guys, I'm going to link that in the description. So definitely go check out what Helen's up to. Obviously, we kind of covered a lot on this podcast, but if any of that resonated with you, hit the link in the description. And Helen, thank you so much for coming on the pod
Thank you,
today.
Riley.
It was a pleasure meeting you and learning more about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, same. I feel like I learned a little bit about you too, and I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Anytime. We'll have to do this again.